Hello, everyone. My name is Paula, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm here to share with you today my experience of losing a dear friend of mine, which was my best friend. I met her when I was 10 years old. Um, I think both of us was entering the fourth grade, or was it fifth grade? I might have, yeah. I think we were entering the fifth grade or fourth grade. I can't remember back that far. But anyway, we were friends for 17 years. All through her life, when I met her, she would sometimes complain about her heart would speed up. But then it was known that she went to a cardiologist every now and then and said that she had an enlarged heart, but not really having a lot of problems with it except for her heart speeding up sometimes. Where it got to be when she got married, had a little son, they told her before she got pregnant or when she was pregnant that it could be, a strain on her heart and that it might even end her life early because if she trying to have the baby naturally, it'll be a lot of pressure on her heart. But anyway, let's skip past that. She had the little boy, and I think he got to be like 8 months old, 8 months or 9 months old. Her and her spouse were having problems at the time, on and off, and he left. He decided to leave them. And during that time that he did leave, it put a whole lot of pressure and stress upon my friend. So I seen her patting her chest a lot, on and off. She was patting her chest like if it was speeding up like this. She would always pat her chest. And I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes." But like I said, she had been seeing a cardiologist on and off. And she had a son that was, I just say, 8 months old. But because of all of that stress and heartache from him leaving at the age of 27 years old, one night when they were in bed together, he heard her, made some sort of noise. And when he went to check on her, she would not, respond. She didn't respond. And so he called his mother first and she told him to call 911 because he couldn't get her to wake up. So he called 911. They came out there and they worked on my friend for probably an hour or so and they just could not get her back. No matter how many shocks to her heart, they could not get her back. So of course I wasn't there. This is what was told me after the fact. Like I said, I've been knowing her 17 years. I met her when I was 10. She died at the age of 7. I'm sorry, not 77, 27. I got a phone call from her um, the night before this happened. And she wanted to talk to me about something, but at the time, I was keeping a bunch of children at my mother's house. I had babies, I had toddlers. Kids were all over the place, screaming and hollering, and I just didn't have time to talk on the phone. So I told her I would talk to her later on. She said, "Okay, because I need to tell you something." Well, that was on a Monday around, I say, was it 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning going on Tuesday? My mother woke me up because me and my spouse were living with my mother at the time in Atlanta. She woke me up and she said, "Paula," she said, "I have bad news about Geraldine." That was my best friend at the time. That was her name. And I said, "What's the matter?" And she said, "Well, she had a heart attack." Now I'm yelling to my mother from the hallway, from the bedroom where me and my spouse were. And she said that she had a heart attack. And at the time, I think I was 26. I would be 27 on in October. She was a few months older than me. Okay. So my mother told me again that, she had a heart attack. And I said, "Well, which hospital is she in?" And my mother said, "No, Paula, no, it's she said, "No." Like I said, "No, what?" I said, "Which hospital is she in?" And my mother told me, and by that time my husband had got up and opened up the bedroom door. And my mother, and we had the lights on, and she came inside of the room. And she said, "Well," she said, "No, Paula, Geraldine didn't make it." And I was like, it's just like I automatically shut that down. I didn't want to hear that. I said, well, that, I said, which hospital is she in? I asked her again, like if she was okay. She said, Paula, she didn't make it. Geraldine died. And I was like, it was trying to process. I didn't want it to process because I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to believe it that she was actually gone. I had just talked to her the night before, which was on Monday. Um, she wanted to talk to me about something. And I didn't take the call. I mean, I talked to her for a few, probably not even a minute, because like I said, I had all these kids. And for a long time, I blamed myself for not taking that call. I have no idea what, she wanted to tell me. And that like to kill me when I actually found out and came to the realization and believed it that she was actually gone forever, forever. And so reality didn't, hit yet, even though my mother was telling me she had died, right? So I'm sitting there on the bed and I'm just shaking my head. I said, I just talked to her. And then, my mind started to play tricks. And I said, well, I know she's playing because when we were growing up together, we always played tricks on each other. We would always joke around. We were silly, and I'm just thinking she's playing some sort of game to make everybody believe that she's gone. But I said, well, that's a horrible trick to play on anybody, right? On anyone to play that trick that you're deceased. And how would she, I mean, what was the reason to play such a horrible game? My mind wasn't thinking like that. I'm just thinking at the time that she's playing some sort of game and that she's actually okay, right? And so I just didn't want to believe it. And then my mother told me I'm going up there to the house, which she didn't live that far from me in Atlanta. So she said, you want to come? And I said, okay. So I started to get dressed and everything. And I met my mother out in the hallway and we went up there that time of night. And by that time we got up there, I think it probably may have been like, it was still dark outside. It might have been like 5 something in the morning. And we went up there. And this is when reality really hit me then. Because as we walked up to the front door, and they had a side entrance too, and I think that's the part we went in because the side of the house is right at the kitchen. So we went into the side entrance of the house because we heard them talking. We heard, and as we got closer to the door, that's when I heard the crying and the screaming and the yelling, and everybody was so devastated, because she had several nieces and they were there, and the nieces was just all torn up. So as me and my mother walked in the door, and that's when I realized that it was really true that she had passed away at age 27 years old. Had an 8-month-old baby boy. So I sat down. I mean, it just like it took all the air out of me. I sat down. I kind of flopped down in the chair, really just like in disbelief of what I really, just found out. My mind didn't want to believe that she was actually gone. I mean, she had passed away. My mind, and it's just like I needed that reality to go up there and see, her nieces so devastated and crying like the way they were. I mean, it was like wailing and screaming all at the same time. And I sat down in that chair and I just tried to process it that my best friend of 17 years, closer than any sister that I ever had, even though I got 3 more sisters, well, 4 in all, I got 4 more sisters. I was not close to my sisters as much as I was to Geraldine. She was closer than my sisters. I mean, we spent so much time together. We would go out and have fun, and even her boyfriend wanted her to leave me at home because I was the third wheel. I was always the third wheel, And so every time they went out to see a movie, she would ask me to come. And I never said no, y'all. Even though she had a boyfriend and everything, I had to be right up there with him. He would come and get me. So he know that when they went out, I was going right along with him. That's how close I was to this girl, right? and stuff, even got called terrible names for the closeness that we shared. And I was not at all. I like men. So even though I was accused of something else, it was not true. It's just that we had a sisterhood that no one could understand but me and her and the Lord. Okay? Kind of remind you of David and Jonathan, the love that they had for each other. And there was nothing going on with them two but brotherhood. Okay? You get accused of stuff sometimes when you are very close to someone. So, it was really, really bad on me. I took it really hard that she was actually gone. And when it was the time for her viewing, when they finished with her body at the funeral home, my mother and my sister, my youngest sister, was trying to get me to go and see her because they said if you go and see her, maybe it would make you find some peace if you just go and see her. But I was so hurt and devastated. I just didn't want to see her body. I just couldn't. I felt like I couldn't take it. I was so I was so much grieving. I grieved hard for Geraldine. I really did. I thought I would never ever get over that. I cried so hard. And then, when you're grieving like that, you can't tell if it's just grieving because you lost somebody very close to you or is it depression. So I think I had them both. I was grieving and I got depressed. Really terrible that I thought I wasn't going to be able to live after that. And, I always thought about, why? Why did this happen? I mean, this girl is young. She had a little baby boy. She had a lot of life, left to live. That's what I thought. But then, as you get older, when you start to understand that death doesn't have a number, death doesn't know numbers. You can be a baby. You can be 3 years old. And like my friend, she was 27 years old. You can be 40. You can be 80. Death comes for anybody. And it don't care what age you are. I had to understand that later on because I said this girl was so young. She haven't even lived even half of what she was supposed to live. Didn't even get to do a lot of things she probably wanted to do. So it was really hard, on her family. It was hard on her spouse. It was hard on me. And my husband tried his best to cheer me up so many days. And I just did not have that fun thing on the inside anymore. I didn't want to go and do anything fun. I just even when I did participate, going places that was fun that I liked to go, I didn't have a good time because guess what? My mind was always on her. How much I missed her, how much I couldn't talk to her. We talked quite a bit, almost every day on the phone. And I blame myself for not, being available for her. That Monday, she called me and said she wanted to tell me something. And I don't know till this day what it was that she had to tell me. And that hurt me for a long time. And so finally, I had to really let that go because it got to me so bad that I did not get a chance to talk to her. And what did she want to tell me? And so, but the good thing about it, Geraldine started going to church maybe 3 years before her passing. She really got involved in her church. I mean, she started preaching to me, and at the time I didn't know God at all. I wasn't nowhere near God. I was nowhere in the Lord. But she have taught me out of some terrible things and dark times in my own life. So she's the true definition of a real friend. Now, at first it was kind of shaky when I first met her because my friend Geraldine was really, really kind of spoiled. And plus, she was the baby girl of the family. She was used to having a way, getting away, and whatever, she wanted, she get. She got. I ain't going to say get, but got. She was just that type of person, not too pleasant when it comes to personality. She kind of clashed with my cousins. My cousin that was real close to me, they didn't too much like each other. But then, like I said, you can start out one way, but then you end up another way. So she ended up being a Christian, born again, fire filled with the Holy Spirit, and she started to really, really, really get into God like that, up until the point where she started preaching to me about God all the time. And I thought she was weird. Even though I was brought up in the church, my mother made us go to church every Sunday. Even sometimes on Wednesday nights, we had to go to Bible study. And she didn't even go to church herself, my mother, but she sent us to church. But then that changed because my mother ended up giving her life to Christ, also my oldest sister, and we all started going to church together. So it's not like I never heard about the gospel. So when my friend Geraldine started telling me about God, I was like, boy, she's changed. And I could see the changes in her life. She was more polite. And it was one time we fell out for like 3 years. But then we never thought that we would ever come back together as best friends. But we did. And it was even more closer. By that time, I had gotten married. And so she told me some things at the park. I took her to the park one day. Things that I never ever heard her say, like I was closer to her than any sister. Now, she had 4 other sisters too. She had 4. It was 5 girls in all. And she started telling me about how close she is to me and how much she loved me. And I said, why are you saying this? You know, because it was something that I wasn't used to hearing. Not the Geraldine that I knew growing up. She was never soft like that. But then, you know, when you got Jesus and the transformation started taking over, then, you know, then you start saying things that nobody ever heard you say, start living a life that nobody ever saw you live. Even he cleans up your mouth. He cleans you up from head to toe. So I could see a mighty change in my friend. She really loved the Lord. And sometimes when she go to worshiping and praising him, she even started speaking in unknown language. I mean, and she wasn't ashamed about it. She loved the Lord. And so yes, her husband and her had problems up and down and on and off and stuff like that. But that night that I heard that she passed away, I thought it was the worstest thing that ever happened to me in my life. Because really, I was grieving and I was depressed. And I think I went through this almost a year or so. And I remember working at a job and I felt like I couldn't even do my job because I was so down about her losing my friend. I didn't talk. I didn't get a chance to talk to her anymore. Just wanted to hear a voice one more time, you know? And so my supervisor called me in the office. I was working at this place where they endorse checks. It was something like, it's real productive, you know, real in a production environment. And so he said, I noticed that you've been walking around like you have the world on your shoulders. And I kind of opened up to him about my friend Geraldine and how I lost her. And it had been a whole year. And I said, does it ever get better? And he told me yes, because he lost his best friend at the age of 23. His best friend was 23, died in some sort of freak. I don't know if it was a jet ski. It's something to do with the water, right? And he lost his friend and he thought that he was going to not be able to survive after he lost his best friend. And they knew each other way longer than me and Geraldine. I think they knew each other ever since they were toddlers. They grew up together. And he was just telling me it get easier in time. And with the help of Jesus Christ, because of that death of my best friend, it had me thinking about my life. And so even though she had died at the age of 27, she had been telling me about God, I think 3 years prior to that, around 24 years old. I think I was 23 when she started telling me about God. At the age of 24, I gave my life to Christ too, as a result of her living in it, you know, way that she did. But I was just a baby Christian at 24. See, she was 3 years in. So I'm just saying that, you know, you never know what a person can mean to your life until they gone. I know it's not the same thing as losing a child. Like so many people have lost a child and you feel like the child is supposed to outlive you. Me and Geraldine was like right at the same age, and I just had no idea that she would die and be gone at such a young age, you know. Although she was 27 years old when she passed away, I'm 21. I mean, not 21, y'all. I wish. I'm 61 years old now. So that's been how many years ago? I'm not good at math. So I'm going to pull up my calculator right here. I'm 61. Just say 61 minus 27. And this is how long she's been gone, 34 years. Yes, I should have known that because I had my son at 28. She died at 27. So it was like a year later I had my son. So my son is 33 years old. And her son should be maybe 35 or 36, I'm thinking. I haven't seen them ever since she passed away. I haven't seen the baby. I haven't seen her husband. It did some devastation to me where I just even kind of pulled away from the entire family. But I did go back to check up on her family some years later. It might have been like 10 years after she passed away. I mean, that's how devastated I was. I didn't even want to see anybody in her family. I didn't want to talk to nobody in her family. It just all reminded me of her. That's not the right thing to do, y'all, to pull away from people who you've been so close to. Because I was close to her entire family. I was always up there. So yes, that's and what helped me to move on with life and is when one day, I don't mean to make the video so long, but one day me and my husband went to Pizza Hut here in Georgia. And and we, you know how they have the little papers on the table for kids. They have little puzzles, they have crayon, they can color a section of it. And I got it and I just started messing with it like if I was a kid. And I remember on that paper, it was like a little puzzle. It says rhyme a word that sounds like C, S-E-E. So I put down me, M-E. And it says rhyme a word that sounds like tree. And I put, I'm not even thinking, I'm just thinking of words to rhyme with it. I put free. And then something on the inside of me, and see, something said, read what you just wrote. I could hear a voice speaking. So I read what I wrote, and it says, me free. It was like God was trying to tell me, don't cry no more, Paula. Don't cry no more, because Geraldine is free. And the reason why I say that, because when she was here, guess what? Guess what was her favorite song? And I don't know if anybody ever heard of it. It's called I'm Free. It says, I am free. Praise the Lord. I'm free. I'm no longer bound. No more change holding me. My soul's a resting. And it's a blessing. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. I'm free. Now, she used to sing that all the time. And my friend did not have a beautiful voice, right? And I would like, be quiet. I would tell her, and we all bust out laughing. She loved that song. And so when I wrote that down, not thinking about rhyme a word that sounds like C and then rhyme a word that sounds like tree, and I put me free. It was God telling me, Paula, you don't have to cry no more. Don't cry no more, because she's free. She's at peace. She's with the Lord. And plus, she was born again. She was born again. And I know it's hard when you lose somebody, because you think about it, you'll never get to see them again. You won't see them on his side of heaven. You don't want, you miss them so bad, because you be like, gosh, you miss them. Sometimes you even forget they gone. One time I went to call her number, and then when it started ringing, it came to me. And I hung up and I said, oh, Paula, Geraldine gone. And I was calling her. I was so used to hearing her voice and speaking to her, you know? So, yes, it's going to be hard when you lose a loved one, when you lose a friend, when you lose a daughter or a son, when you lose your parents, your mother, your father, or grandparent, whoever it is that's close to you. It's going to be hard. I ain't going to tell you it's going to be easy, because it's not. It's not going to be easy, especially if you were so close to a person that, man, it was hard, y'all. It was hard. It was hard for some years to start feeling better. Everybody grieve different, but some people go through, others don't. Mine's came through tears and a bunch of crying. Some people don't cry as much. They may even change, or they may even start to go into a depression, or start letting their house, you know, get junky and nasty. I have seen where people have had trauma, had to clean his houses, but then something happened and the house become, you know, just just messy, okay? Sometimes we can let things that hurt us so bad just get us to a point where we don't even want to have fun no more, don't want to live no more, don't want to go out and enjoy yourself no more. Please don't let it get like that. It's always help out there. Find you help. Find you the help you need, even if you have to go talk to a grief counselor. Because I thought I had to go talk to one when I lost my mother in 2010. Then I lost my niece in 2023, 2023, and that was the worst. But, everybody has experienced some loss in your life. I just want to tell you it's not over. The world won't end because you lost your loved one. It feels like it, but I tell you, there is life after you lose someone that close to you. I'm just here to encourage you not to give up on life, not to give up on your family. You got other family members. So try to get up, pull yourself together. And even if you have to force yourself to get out of the house, and I'm having problems with that right now, but it will get better, people. It will. I promise you it will, because it got better for me. I lost 3 people in my family. Geraldine, even though she wasn't my biological sister, she was my best friend, and she was like a sister. I lost 3 people that was really close to me, and it hurt. Yes, it did. But you know what? It's getting better. I ain't gonna say that you'll never stop missing them, because you will always miss them. And it might be moments when it's been a while, some time has gone by, you will still cry sometimes over them. But the thing is, God is right there for you. You can cry out to God and he will help you. And if you need more help than God, okay, God is the answer to all things. But sometimes we need a little bit of extra help. And then there's nothing wrong with going to talking to someone, because I have done it many times. So I'm going to go on and end this video here, because I think I've been on here for 28 minutes. And if you listen to the whole video, God bless your heart. I didn't mean to bore nobody if I did, but my intentions were good to help those people who have lost someone. I'm here to let you know things will get better for you. And even if I don't know who you are, I pray for anybody that's going through loss and grieving and even depression, because sometimes grieving can bring about depression, deep depression. So I'm here to let you know Jesus will help you. And then if you need a little bit more help, like, talking to a counselor, there's nothing wrong with it. Please find one. And I just want to say thank you all for listening to this video. And this video, I gave my sister permission to share it to her YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed to her YouTube channel, please do so now and hit the like button. Okay? Spread it, share the video. And I thank you all. Okay? I thank you, and I thank Priscilla for allowing me to give my testimony today. And if you want to know the name of her channel, I think it's called Priscilla's View. Priscilla's View. Priscilla. I don't know if she got apostrophe S on there. And View. Okay? Y'all have a wonderful day. I love you guys. And if you haven't accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, please do it today. He is soon to come. And you do not want to miss out on the Lord. Okay? Have a good day. I love you all. Tra-la-la.